Welcome back to Tarot and Beyond. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. Normally I do pick a card readings where there's a pre-selected topic or theme and then there's 3 readings for you to choose from. But today I'm just going to be doing a freestyle reading for the collective. So if you've been called to this reading, then there's probably something here for you. The reason I'm doing this is just because I've been a little under the weather lately and I don't have the energy to do a 3-part reading, so I'm just going to do this one. It'll be easier for me energetically, and yeah, hopefully it'll still be good for you guys too. I have been kind of wanting to do readings even though I've been sick, and Spirit was like, no, you need to rest, you need to take care of yourself. So yesterday I really had to kind of fight the urge and the restlessness to do a reading, and they said today that I could do a really short one if I wanted to, because I listened yesterday. So let's take a look and see what the messages are from Spirit. I feel these two. And yeah, I'll just get some guidance, general guidance for those of you who have felt called to the reading. If there is like a topic or theme or general message that comes up, I will have that in the title. So you guys will know before I do, because I don't really know what this topic's going to be about. We have the 9 of Swords and the Sun card. Let's find out what these are. The Ace of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. I see healing here. I see long-term healing. So it is healing of the body is what they're saying, but also more importantly of the mind. And so the fact that I even was called to do this reading today, because I'm working on healing of the body at the moment, there's something to be said for the mental aspect of that. So I do want to clarify the 9 of Swords there. You've got the 9 of Cups. Wow, 2 9s, and they're clarifying, so that really speaks to me of this. I just heard need for independent healing. Need for independent healing. What does that mean, Spirit? Healing because you will it to be so, is what they just said. Okay, healing because you will it to be so. And the 9 of Cups is wish fulfillment and a sense of independent happiness and joy. So I feel like if there's been stress or worry around the ability to heal in the first place, or the capacity to take care of the self, because that's what really the Ace of Cups is talking about here, there is going to be empowerment as it relates to personal independence of healing. As you will it, so shall it be. As you will it, so shall it be. Justice. Yeah, it feels like there's going to be balance here. Balance as it relates to, I just heard a contract. And when we're talking about health and healing, this is kind of like the contracts of the mind. So there's like a little cat here. Kitty's taken to sitting on the desk and looking out the window at the birds and stuff outside. So my desk is covered in hair. So there's something about a contract here. What is this about, Spirit? A contract from childhood. They said a false understanding or a misperception that led to egoic attachments, is what they just said. Egoic attachments. So this is definitely very mental, because that's where the ego really resides, is in the mental realm. Okay. So the ego attachments from childhood that have been influencing the way that you think about yourself have been impacting your capacity to care for yourself, either physically, financially, emotionally, or even spiritually. But I'm seeing that there's a capacity to heal here that you haven't tapped into. But it's like, if you've been waiting for something else to come in and carry you forward, I can see here that Spirit's really talking about the fact that you kind of got to do this yourself. Like you can ask for support, you can ask for healing, you can ask for like, let's say, for example, you can pray to your angels, you can work with your spirit guides, you can channel energy from your higher self, you can ask for help from other people if need be as well. But really, this is you learning to control your own destiny, is what they just said. You learning to control your own destiny through the independence that you can heal yourself. Okay, let's get some clarifiers. Okay, I'm really slid out there. You've got the 3 of Pentacles and it's actually these 2 they said. Okay, let me just put that to the side. The Tower card. Okay. And the 6 of Cups. Yeah, so this is definitely to do with childhood and this old way of thinking. It needs to be changed. So I'm seeing here, especially with the 3 of Pentacles clarifying the Ace of Cups, this could be like something that you've identified or not identified as it relates to how much work you put in and how that may interfere with self-care. And the fact that I'm here doing this reading when yesterday they told me, no, don't do any readings, because it's kind of like I realized that I'm a bit of a workaholic in the sense that I become really restless when I'm not doing something. I mean, part of that's probably ADHD as well, but it's also because tarot is my calling. And the reason I'm talking about this is because this is the theme that I'm seeing in the reading. And for those of you who have felt called to click on this reading, this also applies to you. We're in the same boat here in a sense. And so this is kind of like neglecting yourself to fulfill a calling or a purpose, or even just to work. Maybe it's not even something you're super passionate about, but you feel guilty if you're not doing it, or you feel as though you're not productive and therefore unworthy if you're not constantly putting in this, practical physical effort in what you're doing for work. And yeah, as a result of that, this idea of I'm not good enough if I don't constantly be performing or constantly be pleasing others or constantly be productive in some way is going to result in me unconsciously neglecting my own needs in favor of this output. Whether it's in work, whether it's in regard to other people. But I'm just seeing here that it's like, yeah, self-neglect, not caring for the self, and then feeling completely exhausted, burnt out, spent, depleted, instead of feeling resplendent and peaceful and abundant and healthy. And I'm really seeing that they're talking about a work-life balance here. There's no coincidences in readings, because I also needed to hear this today. They're like, if you want to get to this level of stability and security that is there for you, it's not through self-neglectful persistence in working. It's through balance. It's incorporating time to rest and heal, while at the same time incorporating time to do the work when you have the energy or when you have the resources. I'm seeing a lot of fun in this reading too, like the Sun card and the 9 of Cups, even the 6 of Cups, really talking about kind of like pleasure time. What do you do for fun? What do you do when you're not working? Those kinds of things. And is that contributing to your mental health and to your overall well-being? And I'll give you an example from my life. When I'm not working, most of the time I'm thinking about working. I'm like, if I'm not actively filming a video, I'm editing the videos, or I'm researching, or I'm planning out the new readings that I'm going to be doing, or I'm creating thumbnails or cover images for the videos, or I'm doing something related to work. And they're like, how are you embracing your inner child and its need for play? Because all work and no play, well, we know what that makes, So the Tower here, in regard to this, I think it is it's something you learned in childhood. It's something we learned in childhood. I wanted to say group number 1 or 2 or 3, but no, this is a collective reading. I'm just so used to that. But with the 6 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, and the Sun card really here all talking to me about this childhood energy, it does feel like it was generational. It was something that was passed down to you. Maybe your parents were like, if you don't work hard, you're not going to get anywhere in life. Or maybe they just modeled that to you. Maybe they didn't even say it to you. Maybe they just did that. And then that was what you learned. So for example, again, another personal example for me is my mom. She was a workaholic. She wasn't a workaholic in the sense that she absolutely loved working, but she had a deep unworthiness wound. And so she consistently took responsibility for everything and everyone. So if she wasn't at work giving 110%, she was at home giving 110%. And she neglected herself to the point that she died of cancer. And that was something that unconsciously became seated within me, that I need to be doing all the time. Otherwise I'm unworthy. If I'm not doing anything, I'm lazy, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not going to get my desires fulfilled, because we have to work for it, we have to earn it, we have to do this and that. And I'm seeing that they're saying like some of that is important. Yes, persistence and dedication to your craft is definitely important here. However, to the detriment of yourself, it becomes counterproductive. And it really is about balance. It's creating that balance and being able to maintain that balance, which I think personally for me is the hardest part, like maintaining that balance and not going a little bit too far one direction or too far in the other. It's kind of like finding a way to walk that tightrope of life where you're finding the time to take care of yourself while at the same time incorporating that dedication to your craft or to whatever it is that you feel passionate about. So unlearning this is really the key here. It's unlearning this sort of workaholic style lesson that was modeled or taught or something like that, or put upon you. Could have been from generations before that as well, like grandparents or great-grandparents. And there's this idea that, all work and no play makes you successful, but it doesn't. And all play and no work doesn't make you successful either. It is a combination of the two. So it's kind of reconciling these two opposites in the mind so that the heart can feel free to intuitively flow with what life requires of you. So that means, for example, like me being sick right now, taking the time to relax and to trust that when my energy and my health and the physical capacity returns, I can come back to doing readings, which I love so much, while at the same time honoring that if I go too hard with readings, it can put me into this state of imbalance where, it's not productive because now I can't do anything. It's kind of like if you go too hard, your body's going to stop you. Your spirit will put the brakes on because it's like trying to protect you. It's like a fail-safe mechanism. And they just said it's all about sustainability. Is it sustainable? That's the true measure of productivity, is what they just said. That's the true measure of productivity. Is it sustainable? And if it's not sustainable because it's not balanced, then it's not productive. Even if you're doing, let's say you're working 40 hours or 60 hours or 80 hours a week for months, let's say that it feels like it's sustainable, eventually it's not going to be. So then it's not sustainable because eventually you're going to hit a wall. Eventually there's going to be burnout, or you're going to start dropping balls because you simply can't maintain that. So this is what they're saying is like true sustainability is balance, because it's through that balance that you're able to continue in a way that is healthy into infinity, is what they just showed me. They showed me like a path that just never ends. It's like you can keep going. That's true sustainability, because you know when to rest, you know when to work, you know when to sleep. You don't let the fear and the doubt of I'm not good enough if I'm not doing something creep in. You don't let that I can't play because then I'm gonna get behind in life and things are gonna start falling apart. Or on the flip side of that, I can let myself play because I know that that's not, it's not like a detriment to me. It's good. Or I can work when I feel called. I don't have to constantly be doing other things that distract me, that are pleasurable, to try and feel that sense of fulfillment that maybe working can bring. Because for me, that's why I love doing readings, is because it brings me a sense of fulfillment. I just love doing it. I love talking to spirit. I love looking at the cards. I love interpreting symbols, and I love delivering messages that you guys need to hear too. It lights me up. It gives me joy. And it's hard sometimes to not do that because I want to be doing it all the time. But yeah, it's like it's an energy thing. Sometimes we have to rest. Sometimes we have to focus on ourselves. So the Ace of Cups here really talking about taking care of your needs, and then being able to prioritize what you are going to do with that energy. It's like filling your cup until it's overflowing, and then expressing or utilizing that energy in any direction. Maybe that's with work, maybe it's with play, maybe you want to spend more time with your kids if you have them. Maybe you want to build a foundation that's actually going to last instead of crumbling like the tower that's built on something that's unsustainable. Maybe you want to take a vacation and just go and enjoy yourself and have some time to be free and not have to worry about anything. But I feel like if you're in this workaholic type of energy, it's really hard to relax and to actually enjoy yourself, because let's say, for example, you're in this Nine of Cups energy where you're on a vacation and you're just, having the time and the space to actually relax. Well, guess what's going to happen? If you're in this workaholic energy, you're actually going to feel stressed. Like, I know that's the case for me. Like, taking time off makes me more stressed out because I'm thinking about all the stuff I could be doing. It's like a lesson in relaxing and actually just enjoying your time and the balance that life really needs to be sustainable. Yeah, that's really what I see here. Okay. Let's get one of these astrology cards. Oh, that one. Conjunction, a union, merging, and coming together. It's like bringing these two sides together. Work and play, rest and productivity, and specifically with a connection to the self, knowing that there is infinite worthiness beyond productivity and what you can achieve or what you can do. It's really just, being free from those internal expectations. I know for me, it's perfectionism, like straight up 99th percentile perfectionist. And I've had to work to heal that. But I see this merging of the self, this healing of the self, and the self. It's like a relationship between all the layers, really. I mean, I was going to say like inner child and adult self and etc. But it's like, no, it's actually all the layers of the self, because it's through this merging, it's through this coming together that there's actually a sense of wholeness, and that external drive to achieve and to do and to be productive in all of those other ways becomes less of a need and more of a want or a desire. And it comes from that true inner fulfillment and the capacity to rest and take care of the self, that everything actually becomes possible, is what Spirit just said. Everything becomes possible because it's not coming from a space of attachment or this inner drive that's coming from the wound of unworthiness, or the template of overextension of the self, is what Spirit just said. The template of overextension of the self. And instead, everything becomes easier. Everything flows better because these parts of the self are whole. Fourth house, cultural and family roots, home, peace, and comfort. And that's really what the 10 of Pentacles was talking about here, the 6 of Cups too. And next week, I'm going to be going out of town. So you guys, I might not be making as many videos next week. I had intended to do actually double the amount of videos this week, but obviously Spirit had other plans in mind because I physically was unable to do that. So I'm having to kind of just be okay with the fact that things aren't going as I wanted them to, and that there is a larger plan. But yeah, cultural and family roots. I'm going home to visit family for the first time in 5 years. And I see that that's really an emphasis here. And whether it's you're visiting family or spending time with them, and that's part of, the balance that you're incorporating into your life, or whether this is returning to those cultural and family roots that may have created or instilled those qualities of I need to constantly be doing, or in the opposite end of that spectrum, not doing enough. But I see that the emphasis again is on the peace and the stability and the balance within merging of those two separates, merging of those two polarities, so that the home becomes a haven, and that's the self, really. Your home is yourself, and your family and your roots and your culture are really extensions of that. So if you heal your relationship with yourself, you're going to be able to see better dynamics with others, either physically or just in the way that you kind of remember it. Because the Six of Cups can be about past memories, childhood things that really stand out to us. And those are different at the conscious and subconscious level. Like sometimes we'll really highlight the best, most beautiful times in our mind, and that's what we have that nostalgia over. And then other times there's a lot of like darker stuff in the subconscious below the surface, because on the bottom of the deck we have the 12th house, spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing is what it says. But really this is like the house of undoing and the subconscious mind and our spiritual evolution or advancement. So I feel like it's healing of these childhood patterns. I also want to put that one here too, because that was underneath that, the 9th house, spiritual growth. So this spiritual growth is coming from karmic balance, by healing things from the past, either by incorporating more of the beauty of that nostalgia that does bring a sense of comfort and connection and merging and wholeness, and or by looking at the things in the past that have been contributing to these false structures of overworking, overdoing, seeking validation, seeking that worthiness that really can only come from within. It can only come from within. And healing the relationship with the self is sort of tandem, is what they're showing me, is kind of like it's in tandem with healing the relationship to your past, to your family, and to your sense of home. That's all going to factor in to this spiritual transcendence of the karmic pattern that this is talking about here. And it's going to lead to a lot of freedom, is what I'm seeing here. A lot of personal freedom and autonomy, because that's what they were saying was like independence. Independence to be able to heal yourself. Independence to be able to balance this out. Independence to clear this karma for yourself. You're not dependent on anyone else to do that. You can realize these patterns and choose to change them on your own. You don't need to go to a spiritual healer and have them tell you what your karma is and how to heal it, or you don't have to be dependent on your ancestors or the generations that came before you to fix their problems. You can be independent for what is yours. And with that responsibility, you can, again, create balance. You can transcend it. And that's where the spiritual growth comes in. I also find it interesting that the 9th house is about travel. And I'm quite literally, I was just saying, I'm traveling home to visit family on the other side of Canada. So something about being able to transcend through this travel, whether it's physical or emotional, mental or spiritual, you're able to create balance as you expand and bring these two opposites together in a sustainable way. Spirit really just said that again. They're like, sustainability is the success. So that should be the goal. Is it sustainable? And they don't mean sustainable for weeks or months or even years, because sometimes we can do something that feels sustainable. Maybe, like, I'll give you another example from my life. I was a waitress for 10 years, and that felt sustainable at the time, but it really wasn't, because I was going way too hard and pushing myself, and physically, mentally, it was just exhausting. And what I ended up having at the end of that was complete and utter burnout, where I physically couldn't work. My body started rejecting the work. And every time I would go into the restaurant, I would feel like I was going to pass out or I was going to throw up. Like it actually physically, my body was like, you have to stop. And that's what I'm seeing here too. It's like, if your body is telling you something, we just need to be more sensitive to it, right? And I'm saying we because I'm included in this. And it's being more sensitive and listening to those little intricate little nudges or signs or symptoms even from the body or from the mind that let you know, hey, something's got a little bit out of balance here. And there's something self-care oriented that needs to be brought into the equation here. Is it sustainable for your entire lifetime? That's probably a good measuring stick. Is it sustainable for your entire lifetime? That's from me. Now, Spirit is saying, is it sustainable for many lifetimes? Is it sustainable into infinity? That's the question you should really be asking. But I'm trying to like whittle it down a little bit and be like, is it sustainable for this entire lifetime? And if the answer is no, then again, they're like, look to the deeper causes of this pattern. Look to the deeper initiating factors is what they just said. Initiating factors that again may stem from your ancestry, your parents, your grandparents, etc., and how that kind of impacted you in childhood, what you took away from that, what was shown to you, what behaviors did you witness, what kind of things were you told, or what did you believe about yourself, and how did that impact how you operate now. All right, I think that's the entire message. Let me see if there's anything else from Spirit. No, they said you did good. Now go rest. Yeah, all right, fine. I will. So thank you guys for sticking around, bearing with me over the next couple weeks as I continue to heal from this little bit of a blip and spend some time with my family out east. And I'll see you guys back in the mid to end September when I'll be back at it again, pumping out the videos on a daily basis or as much as I possibly can. I don't know if that's necessarily sustainable, but I like doing them. So if I can, I will. I hope you guys are enjoying the channel here. I hope you're enjoying the readings. And if you're a member, I hope you're enjoying the members only readings. The pick a cards there I'm having fun with because we can get a little bit more sort of in depth and really get more kind of personal because it's more private. So yeah, anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here, for supporting my work, for supporting the channel. And I look forward to continuing in a sustainable way. Thank you. I love you guys. We'll see you in the next reading. Bye.